Good afternoon there, Rick.
Good evening, Jace. How are you?
It is
afternoon.
Evening.
Could be afternoon somewhere. Could be afternoon somewhere around the world.
That's right. Welcome to episode 5 of the Falcon with the Soldier Live After Show. Fantastic. And of course, this is the show we're going to talk about. We've already seen it. We've watched it. This is the show where we break it all down and get right into the meat and bones in it. And Rick, let's start it off. What were your impressions of this episode?
I loved it. Great episode. It answers a lot of questions. A lot of surprises in this episode as well, which obviously we're going to discuss. Mm-hmm. But a lot of political agendas on this episode as well, and it covered a lot of other little issues as well, which are going around in the world, which we will discuss. But fantastic episode. Very, very happy with this episode. Definitely.
Yeah. Overall, Rick, I would agree with you. This is a good meat and bones episode, as I like to call it. Lots of stuff going on here. As like I said, we will break down right now. Let's get straight into it. How this episode starts really starts where it finished off last week.
Yeah. Yep.
So which is absolutely fantastic. So what we get to see is John Walker, obviously after murdering that guy, like he's the terrorist, out in the middle of that square. Yeah, he's running. He decides he's running. So we start off the episode with him running down looks like an abandoned warehousing kind of system or docks or something. And I love the way it's shot, Rick, because it's shot with this really nice blurry effect on the lens. And it kind of just shows that John is losing his shit.
Exactly.
He's losing his mind. And he's really struggling to accept the fact that his friend has died. And, you know, in many ways, he is responsible for that death. So he's losing it. But, I thought, wow, what is going to happen with this cat straight away? And they don't muck around, Rick.
No.
We get into, a fucking awesome fight between Bucky, Falcon, and obviously the new Captain America. And, man, what a great fight. As equal, in my mind, as the fight between Tony Stark and Cap from Civil War. May not have had the same emotional kind of depth that scene did, but, man, it was a balls-out fight. It was brutal.
Oh, my God. It was amazing. Such great choreography. It's just, everything about it was just I was on the edge of my seat when I was watching that fight scene. I was like, this is awesome.
Mate, absolutely. And the fact that they basically kicked the shit out of each other so much that all three of them are down for the count before Bucky gets up and grabs the shield. So just a great fight scene.
Like, you know, they broke his arm. That scene when they like pulling the thing.
Did they break it?
Because he's in a sling.
Oh yeah,
he's in a sling. So they ripped or broke his arm, whatever. And then he ripped the wings off of Falcon, which was awesome.
Yeah, man, it was brutal.
Just the anger in his face was just
and it was losing control. Especially there was a scene where he was on top of the Falcon, and he's like looking ahead because he's strangling him. He's going to kill him.
Yeah.
Like it's just not there, and just wonderfully executed. Just a fantastic scene. But like I said, they all kind of beat the shit out of each other, you know. It's kind of full on. And I mean, you know, from there, it's like it seemed like Sam was giving up to me. That next scene when he's talking to his soldier buddy, it seemed like for me in the beginning of that he was giving up. Because he said, well, what do you want to do about your wings? You forgot your wings. Yeah, don't worry about them kind of thing. So in a way, he wasn't giving up. What he was saying was, well, there's not much we can do at this point, is there? John Walker's now done. Karli's on the run. They don't know where she is. They've lost Baron. Like, what is he to do at this point, Rick? You know, the Falcon except go home.
Well, that's what they said. When Bucky walks away, he's like, you have to, track down Zemo or fix the Zemo problem. So he knows there's nothing to do, really.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is that him and Bucky have kind of split apart.
They split apart. Well, you can see after that fight scene, he didn't help him up. He just gave him the shield, dropped the shield next to him.
And
I gave him that look, and then so Sam knew that.
100%. But you know what was a really wicked scene early on in this episode too? Is the courtroom scene with John Walker.
Yeah. Oh my God!
When he's being brought up against the court about some of the things he's done, and mate, what a great scene! He loses it in the courtroom, basically saying like, "Well, you guys made me. I did everything you asked me to do. I'm a product of what you created."
He's unhinged.
Wow, he's unhinged, mate. When he just walks away, he walks out of the court. That's pretty badass. Because this is the thing with John Walker, I got to say, is the fact that I don't think I can understand his perspective. Like I'm not on his side anyway. He's a monster, but yeah, he is a product of what they've designed. He is suffering from an extreme amount of post-traumatic stress disorder. You know what I mean? And they fairly clearly kind of explain that before, you know, and that's why he's a bit Fruit Loopy, you know. And now he's got the serum inside him that only enhances everything. So you know what I mean? He's not just a plain villain. He's complex, and I really like what they've done with that character quite a lot. So, which was absolutely fantastic. So, I've got to show you this one. Hey, John Walker built this shield in a cave with a box of scrap. That's a nice little Iron Man reference, which references an after-credit scene, which we'll talk about later. So, yeah, I thought that was funny, actually. But yeah, what a great scene in the courtroom. I thought that was wonderful too. I mean, this is a show that has maintained a level of quality in every episode I've seen so far. And I'm just so impressed with the writing and where this story goes, because you think you know where it's going, but it's smart enough not to go in those familiar tropes. So it's a very, very, very cool, you know. Moving on though, Rick, you know, after that right after that scene,
straight after this is the one that went
yeah, man,
oh my God, wow.
We get John Walker and his wife in the lobby, I would say, outside the court, sitting down. He's lamenting. He's clearly almost non-compass at this point.
He's not there.
And we get this cameo come in, and I'm shocked because I don't know.
I'm shocked as well.
I had no idea she was going to be in the show.
I had no idea either. I don't think anyone. I think they kept this very, very under wraps.
But Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in the episode, playing a very interesting character, Rick, which I've got some information on here, which is Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, or Contessa Valentina Allegra LaFontaine, who is better known to most people who follow comic books, Rick, as, can we get it down here? Bear with me. Where's her name? Her aliases. Probably the most important one here, Madam Hydra.
There you go.
So, you know, which now solidifies in my mind the existence of Hydra. You know, which I don't know how the audience feels about it. I personally like the idea of Hydra being back in.
We know it is going.
Well, Hydra is known to be an organization that
that's right.
You can't be killed. You can't be killed.
That's right.
So deeply, inherently, it's going to pop up again. But that's wonderful. That's wonderful that she's in there, and she's basically, you know, putting an olive branch out of John and saying like, hey, there are people out there who would find your abilities very advantageous. So it was a wonderful little scene. We didn't get a long scene with her. She had 3 lines of dialogue. That was it.
So good though.
But it was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal and a nice surprise. So moving on from there, I think we check back in on Karli. And seeing where her and her flag smashers are at. And they've gone back to that location that we were last week. Over the Turkish Delights. And the place is empty. The place is abandoned. No one there. But they've seen these signs around there about that global thing that is, what is it? The global GFC or something? But anyway, it's a global organization. It's supposed to bring bring everyone back in, all the refugees from after the blip and all that type of thing. They seem to have cleaned the place out on them. What's important about this scene, Rick, is this is the scene where she's turned around and going, nah, whatever evil giant scheme they have planned, they're going to do it now. Because that's what she says at the end of the scene. All right, the time is now.
The time's ready. That's it. Yeah. And which it unfolds through the episode, which we do see what, she's planning on doing. So,
yeah, 100%. Moving on, mate, we go straight to we get to check in on Zemo.
Zemo.
Hey, did you see online that Marvel released this an hour-long video of Zemo dancing in that nightclub? No. I mean, there's a lot of repeated footage, but Marvel actually released it, and it's just Zemo dancing to that music, and that's great, and I love that. So, we get to check in on Zemo.
Sokovia.
Bucky catches up. Yeah, at the monument.
He's in Sokovia, in the monument.
Pretty intense scene, too, because
that's a great scene.
It looks like at that point that Bucky's going to kill him.
Yeah. He's got the gun ready to go. He's cocked it, or he's taken the safety off, and put it to his head.
And click the trigger. No bullets. Has the bullets in his hands, drops it. And then we get the Dora Milaje turning up to take him back to Wakanda. It's time to take him back. But they actually, no, I stand mistaken, and someone should have picked up on that. And I'm sure they will in the comments. No, they're actually taking him to the Raft.
The Raft.
So, which I translated as back to that prison in the ocean. That from Civil War.
Away.
Yeah.
Away.
So that's
away from her.
Yeah. So that's basically, I would say that was the end of. Do you think that's the end of him for the kind of taken away to jail now? I think we've seen the end of Zemo. Absolutely. I think that's the end of the storyline.
And they kind of said, look, Bucky, don't go back to Wakanda for a while.
Yeah.
For whatever reasons. But then he asked for a favor, which was
which was good. Yeah.
Which we know we don't know
later on. Well, it doesn't pay off later on.
Well, he asked a favor, and then we see. Well, we don't know what it is.
Well, you don't have to hide it. Basically, the favor is he clearly asked Wakandans to make Sam some new wings.
I don't. You know what? I don't think it's wings. I think it's a suit. I think it's a suit.
What do you mean the suit?
I reckon it's a suit of some sort of high-tech suit. That's what I reckon.
I think it'll be wings. It's the Falcon. How do you have Falcon with no wings?
Maybe it's a suit and wings, high-tech. I don't know.
Maybe, but you got to have wings. Okay, Rick, you kind of alluded to this earlier in the summarization, but all right, mate, what did you think of that scene between Sam going back to see Mr. Bradley?
The first Black Winter Soldier. Yeah, that was a very emotional scene. We find out a little bit more about him and then the suffering and what he actually went through.
He went through hell.
He did, and there's different serums which they were experimenting on different people. They wanted to know why he survived and other people were dying. Then he got tortured. Very, very emotional. He didn't want anything part of it. When he knew it was the shield that Sam had. He didn't want to see the red, white, blue stripes. He didn't want anything to do with it. And then obviously goes in and has that very, very emotional scene.
Yeah.
And
the fact that they sent him to prison and tortured him for years afterwards to experiment torture, same thing really in this case.
And saying at the end they never wanted a black Captain America. They'll never
allow a black Captain America. It's an interesting political comment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for certain. But I think the show is woke enough to
totally agree.
And maybe, hopefully, not too much. We know what that all leads to. But in a sense, I do think I actually don't think anybody really, the general person in this day and age, we're all expecting Sam to become captain. Do you think any fan of Marvel whatsoever, any more reasonable person on the planet really gives a shit what color his skin is?
No, that's right.
We just want the right guy, and Sam's the right guy.
Of course he is. Well, that's right.
You know what I mean? Like, this is, to me, racing is the last thing I think of. Was more concerned whether he could, keep up with it. But I'm more convinced by the end of this episode that he can handle it. So, wow. Yeah. That's it. But, really, really emotional scene right deep in that episode, And then we finally go back to Louisiana and Sam's home.
I love this scene. It's great.
It's nice to see him with his family, and they're redoing the boat, and it's lovely. And of course, who comes to help? Bucky.
Bucky
and
comes in.
This is lovely because actually, for the first time, it's just like
they're not worrying about anything. None of
the banter. They're just helping each other out.
They know Karli's out there. They're kind of like, how do we stop it? But they're not really worried about anything else. They're kind of just, focusing on the moment and their friendship.
But in a way, it's kind of like a metaphor for Sam rebuilding himself. Them rebuilding the boat is a metaphor for Sam rebuilding his place in the world. Very much so that is, in a literal sense, we get to see him training with the Shield, which is a great little scene. Especially when he's there's a really great scene between both of them, both Sam and Bucky, and they're throwing the Shield and it's bouncing back. And they're having their discussion. But when he's solo training, and he can't
rookie montage
house with the Shield, he keeps almost getting his head knocked off.
He's ducking and he's doing he got there at the end.
Yeah, he got there at the end. But that was his Rocky moment, the Rocky montage of getting stronger. That's what that scene was with the Shield. By the end of that, we know that he can handle He's got a good handle on the Shield. So the new Sam Wilson has been born from that scene. So I thought it was really great and really touching. And I thought the sister, she's a great actress, really gave a lot of emotional depth.
I love it when Bucky's there on the boat and they first introduce it, and he's like, hey, how you going? Like he's hitting on it. And Sam's like, stay away from my sister. Such a great little.
There we go. I got a couple of comments here. We'll rip through, Rick.
What we got,
one is Sam should have kept the Shield 4 episodes ago. Yes, well, but if he didn't, we wouldn't have a TV show. So, yeah.
Very true.
Sam's new cap suit. He brings up a point here, Rick. What if, and because we haven't kind of mentioned this part yet, but you talked about, getting new wings, but what if it's the red, white, and blue? Yeah, with the wings.
Yeah.
Definitely a new contraption, but whether it's the whole thing.
If you think about it, Sam is just a normal person.
So he needs
he needs something that's going to help him with the Shield and everything else. Like Cap had that serum and the strength and everything else. So there's got to be something there. So for sure,
100%. Hey, we get to see another cameo in this episode too. He had his first cameo in episode 1, but Frenchie
Batrock. He's back. Yeah,
Batrock Lipa is back working with Karli. He's got a weapon of some sort. I mean, they're doing a deal. So they're working together. But his motivation is to kill Falcon. That's all he wants to do. He just wants to have his crack at the Falcon. Like a great villain. He just wants to beat the shit out of Falcon. But anyway, it's it's really kind of beefing up. So in your understanding, Rick, what do you think the big end game is here?
I got a little bit confused with this scene. I don't know if it was. It just clarified it for me. I don't know. She's obviously she had that scene with him, and then she got on her phone. She did those signals.
Yeah, and everybody's kind of
everyone.
She would have had all her crew sitting there, and
so they're not normal
terrorist attack in New York. That's what I'm getting out of it.
Yeah. At the
final showdown of the last episode's clearly in New York. All right.
Yeah.
So, which I'm surprised at, honestly, but I'm digging that's where it's going to go.
Well, they went to the Senate thing and lights, everything, all the power went out.
That's their meeting. They're teasing through the entire episode that committee, the global repatriation or whatever, bringing everyone back. I can't believe we're going blank on that. The GRC, that's what it is. Is it the Global Repatriation Council? I think it is.
It's GRC.
Yeah, GRC. So, they're having their giant committee, giant meeting. Everything goes off. Everything goes red. That's the episode. That's where we leave the episode. I feel like we've kind of cut through that, but that went for, well, they say an hour, but really the episode went.
It was an hour.
Yeah, it was about 50
right.
minutes. So, there's another comment here by Carson, which is actually I want to talk about, is where's Steve Rogers? Did you find it interesting, Rick, that they kept saying that Steve isn't here anymore? But in my mind, Rick, isn't Steve still alive as a really old man? Like, he didn't die at the end of Avengers Endgame. He didn't die.
That's correct.
He was just a really old man.
That's right. So where is he? Is he?
Well, because they keep saying to him he's gone and he's not here anymore and stuff like that.
They haven't specified that he's passed away. We haven't seen anything. So that's a good point. Where is Steve? Yeah. Maybe he might make an appearance next week, on a walking frame or something. I don't know. You never know.
Never know. Never know,
mate. This is Marvel. He could make an appearance.
Words of wisdom, comes in like Yoda-like and says a couple of things and boom, away you go. After credit scene, we haven't gotten any in this, right? But
no, it's the first one.
The first one, which leads back to this earlier comment, is John Walker built this build in a cave with a box of scraps. What they were saying was, we're going to see that very familiar to Iron Man of John Walker building his own shield.
He's just making it out of junk.
What's it gonna, what's it gonna
protect him with? Like that's.
I think he's got completely nuts at this point.
Of course he has. Yeah.
So that's where the showdown is. You got Karli versus US Agent versus Falcon and Winter. Like it's gonna be a cracking last episode.
Oh, it's gonna be. It is.
Oh yeah, 100%. This is gonna be great. So far I've been completely delighted with this show. I think this is a show that definitely could be definitely get a season 2. Why not? I'd like to see this character continue in this format. So
well, that's what we kind of touched on it last week about it. Saying that.
I think
I think they will. I think they will. I think they have to. It's
just such a well-made show. Really interesting. Hey, what about the theory that Emily VanCamp, right? The girl that. What's her name?
Agent Carter's niece,
Sharon Carter, is actually the power broker. Could that be a fact?
Yeah, I was thinking that. They had that one little scene with her.
When she's walking through the barricades and that, like she can walk through, like I'm stopping her, and maybe possibly. That's one of the theories out there. She may be the power broker.
I think that will evolve next. I think we'll definitely see that next week for sure.
Yeah,
I think her character is going to evolve out of that. Like you said, it's just got to be all on action next week for sure.
Yep, fantastic.
Cannot wait.
Well, that was it, Rick. What a great episode it was. But just I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point. I got a lot to look forward to, but it is
such a great show. It is. It's right. It is wonderful to watch. It is a great show.
Yeah. Like it's getting to you in your home every week, dude. I mean, what more? And it's quality. It's not. No disrespect to Agent Shield, because I know it's got a lot of fans, but it's not Agent quality. It's not, CW quality. This is film quality television series.
That's right.
And let's face it, they've gotten a big tick for WandaVision and now another big tick for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Just gets me excited for shows like Loki and She-Hulk and Moon Knight and Armor Wars and Miss Marvel. And there's just so much goodness coming down the pipeline from these guys.
And they haven't disappointed. It hasn't been disappointing at all. They're just more and more top-notch stars are getting on board,
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, playing.
I wouldn't have imagined that she would be.
She was in the show at all
in a Marvel series.
I love it when they do that too. I love that go out of their way, and you know it costs them money to do that when they're making these production, is to kind of keep those people secret, like Aaron Taylor Johnson not being in it and having what's his name, the other Quicksilver in there. What a surprise in one division that was.
You know,
it was great. It was fantastic.
So good. So hopefully we might get another one next week, but we never know. But next week's show's going to be a cracker.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. I do believe it's another hour-long episode. So, guys, next week we will be doing same time as usual. We'll get into the final episode, Rick, and then we take a break for a little while because we're waiting for Loki, which isn't until June. So there will be a break from these MCU live after shows until the next bit. So we're going to get to the big finale. So, all right, until then, don't forget, guys, to watch our Justice League breakdown show, which on Monday we do episode 5, chapter 5.
Wow, chapter 5 already.
Chapter 5, so we're getting to the meaty end of that as well. So far, I've thoroughly enjoyed doing that show with you, Rick. It's been great.
Have you watched the black and white version? Sorry, Jason. Have you watched the black and white version?
No, not yet. I will.
No.
I will.
Yeah, I'm going to
I think after we come the show, I'll watch it all again in black.
Yeah.
100%.
Know what you think.
So don't forget, that's on Monday nights at 7:30 as well. We'll be back next Friday at 7:30. Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
See you all very soon. Let's get out of here, Rick. You got anything else,
guys.
See you later.